Hey everyone, it's about 7:45 in the morning, Central Time here. We're heading to Micro Center to check out the 4070 Ti launch. I'm curious if there's gonna be a line around the building or not. I kinda actually think that there's gonna be, despite the negative reviews yesterday. I can get into that a little bit more later, but the problem is this: in that price range, $800 to $1,000. What else are you gonna get right now? And that doesn't make it necessarily right or okay, right? But the 3080s are all gone. The 3080 Ti's are all gone, or at least I don't see them anywhere. Even the 3070 Ti's are pretty much gone. So if you're in that market for an upper end graphics card, like, this is probably still your best bet. So I think there's going to be a lot of people here. We'll check it out. I was originally going to get one, assuming that I could. I don't think I'm going to anymore. I think I've changed my mind, but we'll be there in just a minute. We'll scope it out. So I just turned the recording back on, flipped the camera. Now, I don't know. I've never been here. I made it a little bit too late for the 7900 XTX launch to see if they let people wait outside. Looks like there's 2 people sitting out here. So, yeah, there's a couple of cars that look like they're on. Maybe people are waiting, but does not look like a huge launch. I'm gonna get out and just look at the building for a second to show you. Yeah, nobody. Oh, there's a couple people. One more dude walking up. Otherwise, nothing. There aren't quite a few.
Well, I wasn't sure how many to expect.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they got 50 something-ish of the last few, but I don't know. I don't work here.
I don't see the. Yeah, I don't see the
gigabyte ones over there.
Okay. It says you guys have it on your app or online. It says you have it. It says there's limited quantity. Yeah.
There's the Strix OC. Yeah, that Strix card looks pretty good, man.
So then you get 850 for the overclocker, you go up to 9 for the gigabyte.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Okay, well, we're back outside Micro Center. I did change the plan. Thought about it long and hard, but buying a 4070 Ti just didn't make a lot of sense right now. So instead, I decided to take some of that money and boost my current build, so I've got a better rig to bench stuff in the future and get better performance anyway. So instead of spending $800 on a graphics card, I spent about $580, and went with the Z690 plus Wi-Fi board. Z690, it's a DDR5 board, so I got some Team Group RGB DDR5. I kind of went middle of the road here. I went 5600 mega transfers CL36. I thought about going with the 6000, but being that this is a Z690, it doesn't have the memory controllers for DDR5 like a Z790 has, so I didn't want to push it too much. And then I went with the old 12700K. That's going to be an upgrade from my 11700K. More cores. And fun stuff. Some screen wipes with Wonder Woman. And, of course, I fix it. And look at this Lego Baby Groot. Huh? Right? Alright, later. Okay, so we went to Micro Center today for the 4070 Ti launch. I didn't really know what to expect. if you made it this far, you've seen the little clips that I put together at the front of the video. There was like 5 or 6 dudes, including myself, and 2 girlfriends, including my own, that showed up this morning, and that was it. I think one more guy had walked in kind of as I was leaving. I heard him ask where the 70s were, but there did not seem to be that strong of a demand. So I suppose that's pretty good. You know, maybe these prices will get knocked down. That being said, I would talk to some of the guys that were outside waiting for a couple minutes before the store opened, and one of them, actually 2 of them, had really good points. You know, the one dude was building his first system ever. He'd already gotten a 1300K. He either didn't mention or I forgot what motherboard he had gotten, but high-end CPU. He wanted a high-end graphics card to go with it, but it was his first one. He doesn't game in high resolution, so he thought the 4070 Ti was right for him. And I agree. Simply from the fact of, if you're already shopping in that price point, like, what else are you going to get right now? A couple months ago, you might have been able to get a 3080 or a 3080 Ti or even a 3090. There was some Zotacs floating around for a little bit more money than what the 4070 Ti is going for, but they're not there anymore. So if you want a mid-range to high-end graphics card, and you want to avoid the crap show that is AMD right now, you've got to go with the 40 series. You know, nobody's got to build a gaming PC, right? But if this is what you're doing, this is your hobby, this is what you're in the market for, 4070 Ti is a great card on paper. It costs a little bit more than it probably should, but it's still a decent card. And this is what brings me back to what the first guy in the line was saying. So he was upgrading from a 3070 Ti, and he put it in perspective, because I was like, well, you know, you showed up here, you're first in line. What's your thinking, your rationale? I mean, surely you saw the reviews that come out yesterday, right? And he's like, oh, yeah. But what all the big guys forgot to really mention was that this is a 1440p card. And I was like, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, and if you think about it, well, you may be different, but most people are not buying a 70 class card to do 4K in. If you want to do 4K, you need an 80 or a 90, right? I mean, some of these lesser cards will do some 4K, but if you want to really, medium to high settings, turn things up, have some frames, you really need an 80 or 90 series card. And even then, you're talking about using DLSS for the most part. So 1440p, 4080 kicks butt in 1440p. Ask me how I know. But when you compare the 3090 Ti in 1440p to the 4070 Ti in 1440p is where it really shines. And I still think NVIDIA kind of exaggerated / lied about, comparing it to the 3090 Ti, but at least in 1440p, I would say that they're right. This is a great 1440p card, and that's why he was purchasing it. And, I don't know if it's worth it personally if I had a 3070 Ti to go up to a 4070 Ti, but probably it is. I mean, if you're wanting to upgrade, it's either that or wait another couple generations and see what else comes out in the meantime. But if you're sitting there on a 3060, 3070, or a 2070, 2080, 1660 Super, and you want to upgrade and not spend $1,000, I think this is a card to go with. You can wait it out and see when the price comes down some. But for $850, which is what, you're seeing on the screen here. Well, that's 4090 actually, but the tough 4070 Ti, the OC model, $850. I think that's the best you're going to get price for performance right now. Again, not saying that price for performance is what it should be per se, But right now, we don't set the prices. They are what they are. If you're in the market for this card, I think at that price point, it's the best one. Now, I don't know that I would spend $1050 on a Strix OC, but, you know, the Strix OC is the Strix OC. You know, people are going to buy it because it's the Strix. I will say this, and the dude at Micro Center, the employee pointed this out to me. He's like, it's funny, the Strix has the biggest price tag and the smallest box. And I was like, oh yeah, that's, you know, I hadn't noticed that until you pointed out, but you're right, it sure does, doesn't it? And he was right on. Like the Strix has the smaller box out of all the other ones. And upon, you know, remembering watching the videos yesterday, I was like, oh yeah, you know, the Zotac especially, I remember that it had, it's got the 4080, 4090 cooler on it still. So I don't know. I want to compare the tough, but the Rogue Strix had, I think I was watching Paul's video. I think he had one, and it is a cut down version of the cooler. So it's actually a smaller card. So that might entice some people to go with the Strix model over some of these other ones. It's going to fit in some of the smaller cases. Now, again, I wish that I had one to show you, but I do not. As you can see from the other video that I spliced in here, I went to get one today so that I could benchmark it and see how it performs compared to my 4080, see if it's worth it for people. But at the end of the day, you know, there's so many reviews that are coming out for these things and that will in the future. I'm just not, I can't go out and buy every new graphics card that comes out. You know, I'm already sitting with a 4080 in my system, and I've got a Rogue Strix 3080 sitting in my bedroom that I don't have anything to do with right now. So I don't need another GPU just laying around. It would have been fun to have one to test and to show you guys and to, you know, physically hold it in my hands and see what the size is like and stuff like that. That's what she said. But you know, $850,000. I decided to instead boost my own build, to quote a phrase from Jason PC Builder, who's always having the boost my build videos. I went to boost my own build, and I was like, you know, instead of spending all that money on a card that I'm going to make a couple of videos with and then be done for, I'm going to boost my own system. So I got a TUF Z690, which is currently I've got a TUF Z590. So I got a Z690 TUF DDR5. I got some Team Group RGB 5600 Mega Transfer CL36 RAM, and I got a 12700K. I was really on the fence, and I had some money cushion, if you will, between the cost of this stuff and what I was going to spend on the graphics card, and decided to just rein it in, because I was thinking about going with a Z790 and a 13700K. And obviously that would have been better, would have been faster, but I have an 11700K right now, and bumping up to the 12th gen gets me a lot of performance. Going from 12th to 13th, not as significant. It's a decent bump to be sure, but not worth it right now for the hundreds of extra dollars. So I've got a 12th gen, 12700K. It's going to be going in that Z690, and I'm pretty sure this, I'm going to have to double check, but I should be able to flash the BIOS with that 12th gen CPU in there and prepare it to run a 13th gen CPU. So when I want to upgrade to a 13700K or a 13900K, I should be able to do that with this TUF board, I think. I'll post a video of whoa if I can't, because I do think in the future I will upgrade to a 13th gen, since I'm kind of locked into 12th and 13th gen at this point with this motherboard. Anyway, and if I'm going to buy yet another motherboard, I'm just going to build a new system altogether. But I think I have enough right now that it's time to wait a few cycles, a few generations, before I, you know, bump anything else up. 12700K, Z690, 32 gigabytes DDR5 RAM, 4080, like, it's good. It's good. So that's where I'm at with that, with the 4070, checking that out today, with boosting my own build today. What else we got to talk about? I think that is all for right now. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. I hope you like the video. Please like and subscribe, helps the channel out, and hope you have a great day. One more thing I almost forgot about. I'm going to give a shout out to my guy Classical Technology, who's been doing videos on this graphics card situation for months and months now. He's a good guy, good channel, good videos. Go check him out. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description. Thanks.